Yes, sir. You already know what the fuck is going on, man. Real stay say shit. We lit. Earl Sweatshirt just dropped his new project, Sick. And this nigga took a whole new turn, basically reinvented himself on it. But before we get into all that, I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. You already know, run this shit the fuck up. So, Earl Sweatshirt, he just dropped his new project, Sick. And it's basically a like major departure from like all the other stuff that he's been coming out with. He and himself, like in an interview, basically said that he was making this shit more listenable, which, I mean, like, this nigga wasn't making shit that wasn't listenable. Like, it was a vibe for real. Like, it was like lo-fi beats and stuff previously. Like, kind of like, it wasn't like so similar to his shit that he came up with, like Doris, but it was like more towards that type of realm of music for a while. And people that are kind of in that realm of music, I would say like Earl or like Joey Badass, like, or like niggas like that kind of came up on the whole type of vibe of like some lo-fi, like almost like boom bap type shit. Not saying Earl was boom bap, but his shit was more like lo-fi. His early shit was more crazy too, but like they definitely had like a struggle sort of revamping and changing their whole shit to like fit the modern world. You feel me? Like, a lot of artists that we listened to back in like 2015 and 2010, even, like a lot of those niggas are like gone and people don't even give a fuck about their shit anymore, you know? And I feel like it's not surprising. Like, we can't sit here and be like this shit is surprising, because it's like these artists were like at a time, honestly, I don't even know how the fuck they came out after, like, when boom bap was kind of dead for like 10 years and then it came back, but it still hasn't really come back. And I feel like artists that are on that shit aren't really like hella popular. But this nigga Earl like totally switched up his shit and didn't make trash, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of niggas be trying to get on trap beats is what they be calling it. Like, I feel like that's what the old heads and like niggas that can't really switch over from lo-fi be just classifying it as like trap beats, whatever the fuck that means, because trap is like EDM, right? But anyways, like, I feel like Earl did a good ass job at that shit on his album, and we're gonna get into it. So this nigga Earl, basically, he sort of started off, he started with this fucking mixtape that he started off with, which was fire in the Odd Future days, and then eventually moving on from that, dropped his first album, Doris, and that was like definitely dark, eerie ass shit. And then he moved from that to I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, which was like super eerie. I felt like it was like drug music. Like, it made me feel like I was in a goddamn like dingy like motel room or some shit, if I were to like get into how I feel about it, like how it made me feel. So basically he moved from that and dropped some rap songs, which was like an album that had to do with his father's death, and that shit was fire. Like, I feel like this nigga off rip, like, he was bringing back that lo-fi shit, which it didn't really have a moment. I guess it really had a moment somewhat, a little bit, but it was more like an underground sound, and he sort of brought that shit back, and I feel like people can really appreciate that shit. But like, it was not really like the modern type of vibe that we're like on today, on some crazy shit. But it's like he was able to paint his own vibe that his core base of fans, like, they didn't really give a fuck that he switched over. So previously, when he first came up in 2012, that's actually when he first started his own label called Tan Crescita, and that's where he basically like kind of became, he wasn't really independent really at that time. He was still like being distributed by Columbia Records, but we're gonna get into like why I feel like that plays a difference in his whole sound and his rebirth and shit. So when Earl actually completed some rap songs, he did more than just drop the album, but he actually completed his time with Columbia Records, actually distributing his work and his music basically on like their sort of distribution platform, and his label was actually completely independent after that, and that was like his album obligation or whatever. So I guess he had like 3 albums, one of which, the I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside album, this nigga says that he didn't even know that they were gonna release that shit. Like, he basically just woke up and that shit was released and everything. Like, he had no prior like knowledge that it was going to be released. So after dropping some rap songs, which was like the album having to do with his father's death, and it was like the lo-fi one that I was talking about previously, he sort of like switched over, and then he dropped an EP, Feet of Clay, which was fire as fuck. And this nigga basically said that like being able to be free from the label basically allowed him to do like riskier shit. I'm guessing that when he was on the label, these niggas just wanted him to do like the same shit that he had been doing, because that's the type of shit that like his fan base could have came up on. Or they were trying to make him do pop shit. I don't even fucking know. But I feel like the independent wave that he went on, starting with Feet of Clay, definitely like showed that he was like a goat with the shits, man, because that shit was like fire. But it's still sort of that lo-fi sound that I was talking about, you know, like it was still in that lo-fi like wave, still doing like not boom bap beats, but still more of a lo-fi like vision, almost like boom bap, but like more slow, like a little bit melodic at times, like trippy as shit. Honestly, I feel like it's paved a path in its own. The only other people that I know that are making music like that are like Mike, which is like his close collaborator and homie. Niggas like Mavi. Who's that other dude? Fucking, his name starts with an M too. Fuck, his name fucking escapes me. But Navy Blue also, like all these people, like they sort of like established a vibe with that, and he kind of ran with it. But then after Feet of Clay comes his like newest piece of work, Sick, which is, I don't know, it's like an ode to the pandemic type shit, and it's definitely trippy as fuck on like a whole nother inspirational level. But he drops shit that is not like the usual like lo-fi type shit. He moves in a whole nother direction, away from like lo-fi almost boom bap beats to like actually like rapping over what niggas would consider trap beats, even though it wasn't no trap beats, over that type of shit, you know. It was definitely a departure from his old style, and that's what I feel like he was like excited to do when he said that he was like moving in a new direction away from Columbia, because he could do riskier shit. Like, man, the new project is fire, and it's like fire in a modern way. Like, this nigga really coming out on some modern shit, which is like something I feel like niggas need to appreciate, because like so many rappers be falling off because they're stuck in one style. Like half these niggas, like this nigga Earl has been around for a fucking decade. That's longer. Like this nigga's younger than like a lot of these rappers and shit, but like still has like a cult fan base and still be making shit that's like feels like it's like brand new, like really be reinventing himself like on a regular basis, which I feel like is cool. I feel like even from before Sick, like Feet of Clay and some rap songs was already a reinvention from I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. But like Sick is like an even more reinvention. I be really fucking with, what's that one, the one that says Int on it, that song. I be fucking with 2010. I've been blasting 2010 like every single day since that shit came out, you feel me? So it's like whole bunch of crazy shit, man. Like I feel like this nigga really like embraced that shit, and like he used a lot of his production. I feel like Black Noise is fire as fuck. That's like his producer that helped him. He dropped 2010. Like the whole project is gas, but I feel like I'm not trying to make like a reaction to the actual project. I'm trying to like really show that like we should give this nigga his flowers for even being able to reinvent himself, because so many fucking rappers from this time, like from when he came, have been dead and gone, and so many careers since this nigga has started, like this nigga's like barely like a year older than me, like type shit. He's like young as fuck, but it's like so many people who are older than him had careers come and go in like 2 years or less or some shit, and this nigga's still around for like a decade or longer since when he first started, man. So it's just like crazy to even think about how far this shit has even gone. It's crazy to even see that he reinvented his shit, because this is definitely a good sign and shows that he'll be around to come. But hey, real stay safe shit, you already know what the fuck going on. Make sure y'all tap into that project. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you think this nigga's on some next shit, or if he like is still in the same realm as when he started. But real stay safe shit, like, comment, subscribe. Yes sir, we out. Peace.